walked over to Clover and gently laid a hand on her shoulder. Your brother has to be behind one of the numbered doors. We searched everywhere, but we didn't find him. Doesn't that mean he has to have gone through one of them somehow? Clover slowly lifted her face. Let's go look for him together, okay? If we sacrifice one person, then we can go look for him. You agree with me, right? Clover nodded once. The motion carries. Fucking Lotus. Lotus spun around and walked towards Junpei. Now let's start a vote too. That won't be necessary. Ace had barely spoken for Lotus's entire speech, and everyone jumped a little. 6 pairs of eyes turned to look at him. He didn't seem to notice, or even care. I will say, that should solve our problems, yeah? Ace, what are you saying? No, you can't do that. That won't solve anything. June's voice shook, and she looked around desperately for someone to agree with her. Ace simply looked at her. June, I'm afraid you may have misunderstood me. I said I would stay, but I never said I would sacrifice myself. Huh? I trust you, each and every one of you. I believe you'll come back for me. Whoa. There's optimistic, and then there's just nuts. Those doors only go one way. You go in, you don't come out. If we go through them, you won't be able to return, correct? Yeah, true, but that will not be the case once you've escaped from the ship. What? Please, I beg you, once you've escaped, come back for me. Ideally, within the time limit Zero has given us. No, that's ridiculous. There's no way we could get back in time. Finally, Jinpei could hold his tongue no longer. We've only got 5 hours left. We don't even know where the hell we are. How on earth are we gonna find someone to come and rescue you? Then perhaps you would prefer to stay instead of me. Or perhaps you would be willing to leave June behind. Ace's voice was dignified, and without a hint of cruelty or malice. Junpei had no rebuttal. You see, there's no other choice. Then I see we've come to our conclusion. Go on. Don't worry yourselves about me. Go, quickly. Junpei stood frozen by indecision, unable to move. June bit her lips so hard that Junpei feared she would break the skin. Senta stood against the wall, calm and aloof. Seven tore his beanie from his head and turned it over anxiously in his hands. Only Clover stared at Ace with an expression Junpei wasn't able to decipher. Lotus's attitude, however, was different from the others. Good. Let's accept his kind offer then. She smiled, her eyes bright. Ace answered with a smile of his own. Good. I think this is the best for me. Perhaps I'll be able to take a nap. Perhaps it's my age, but I get tired so easily these days. As he spoke, Ace lowered himself down to the floor next to one of the beds.
Next to?
Yeah. From somewhere deep in the ship, Junpei suddenly heard the screeching of metal on metal. It was almost as if the ship were screaming. Would it really hold until their time limit was up? Already, T-Deck was flooded. In the sudden silence, the only sound was the sad metal wail of the ship. Unsurprisingly, it was Lotus who spoke first. Well, what are you waiting for? We're wasting time. Why don't we hurry it up? As if a spell had been broken, the others all began to talk at once. You're right. We should get going. That's all we can do right now. 7. Seriously, honestly, I was getting kinda sick of listening to you guys talk. You too, Santa? I have to find my brother. Wait, all of you, let's just calm down and think about this. There has to be a way to get everyone out there. There has to be, right, Jumpy? Say something. Yeah, let's think. There's gotta be another way. His words sounded hollow and fake. Fine, forget about it. I'll figure it out on my own. She spun around and ran toward Ace. He had slumped down next to the bed when June grabbed his arm and pulled. Come on, Ace. Please stand up. You can't give up yet. We just have to sit down together and think about this. We'll figure out a way that we can all get out of here. Then it happened. Whoa. Ace fell forward. He slumped over onto the wooden floor, his body folded in half like a boxer out cold. Ace! June cried out and dropped to her knees beside him. She put her arm around his neck and did her best to lift him up. What happened, Ace? Say something. She shook him frantically. His eyes fluttered open. I'm alright. His voice was weak and slightly slurred. How are you fine? He held out his left arm and slowly opened his hand. In it was a syringe and a small vial. The vial was empty. It had only recently been emptied. A few drops clung onto the sides. There was a label tapped onto the side of the container. It read Soporil Beta. Soporil Beta. Junpei had no idea what it meant or what kind of medicine it might be. Bless you. Bless you. Did he use this? Yes. It's just anesthetic. I'll be fine. Anesthetic? I found it earlier while we were searching the hospital rooms. I thought it might be useful later. Didn't think I'd be using it on myself. Why did you do this? Didn't I tell you? I'd like to take a nap. Really, I am very tired. Junpei knew that wasn't why he'd done it.
Hey, everyone.
Ace had injected himself with anesthetic to forestall Junpei and June's attempt to bring him along. If he couldn't move, there was nothing they could do. He'd inject himself so that they would be forced to leave him behind. Ace, is there something you want to say? I'd just like to sleep, a little. Could you keep it down? No, don't, Ace, don't fall asleep. You feel warm. So comfortable. I think I'll have a nice dream. Ace's eyelids drooped further and further, almost as though he were dying. Ace! Ace! She shook his shoulder again and again, but this time he didn't respond. Only the gentle rising and falling of his chest told them he was alive. Junpei was relieved to see he was, in fact, still breathing. I think 7 should move Ace into one of the beds, even though he might be too tall for beds. Too tall people have problems. He lifted Ace up the floor and laid him on the bed. Wait, who lifted Ace up the floor? Junpei? That doesn't sound right. And laid him on the bed he'd been leaning against. When Junpei turned around, Lotus gave...
What if Ace is actually, like, 5 feet tall?
That would be hilarious.
Like, we always see... Every time we see him, it looks like he's, like, 6 foot tall and huge, but he's just, like, 5 foot tall. Just perspective.
Junpei turned around. Lotus gave him a look of pity. Well, we really don't have a choice now. We can't let his sacrifice go to waste. Right? She wasn't feeling any remorse. Junpei was sure of that. Still, he held no grounds upon which to oppose her. It felt wrong, but he had to agree. Then suddenly, Santa spoke. Yeah, but we're not done choosing yet, are we? Huh? What do you mean? Well, we haven't decided who's going in what door. Ah, yes. Yes, that's true. Well, enough of this screwing around. Let's decide. You first, Lotus. Which door do you... Okay, what are the options? I think the options are 3, 7, and 8. So, Ed, do a straw poll? You first, Lotus. Which door do you want to? I want door number 8. It's the same number as my bracelet. Got it. You're 8. You're next, 7. Which one do you want? I'll take 7. I can get along with that old lady. What? What did you just say? Her face distorted by rage, Lotus took a step toward 7.
You did say 3, 7, and 8, correct?
Yes. He threw up his hands, but don't post it just yet, because I don't know if 3 will be included. So, he threw up his hands and made a face like a child caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Ugh, you're going to get it next time. She shot him a glare that would have melted steel, then turned and stalked off. Alright, who's next? Santa's gaze moved across the 3 people left. Finally, they stopped in Junpei. Which door do you want to go? Do you want? At last, Junpei's mind was already made up. Okay, post the straw poll. 3, 7, or 8. Let's decide. Let's decide, guys. Let's be democratic and decide.
Does it say who they'll get to go? You'll get to go with?
Nope.
No.
Nope. I mean, if you go through 8, you go with Lotus. If you go through 7, you go with 7. And if you go through 3, we so far know. 2 votes, both votes for 3. 4 votes, 1 for 7, 1 for 8, and 2 for 3. That is 4 votes. 4 votes out of 9 people. 5 votes, 7 and 3 are tied. 7 and 3 are tied. 7 and 3 are tied.
Shh.
Okay. Imagine if we had like 100 people helping us decide. That would be exciting. But that would also be a little bit chaotic in the chat. Oh, the joys of having a tiny chat who we can chat with. Hi chat, I love you. I love you, kid.
Gross.
What? Why are you saying gross?
Kaz.
You're gross. Don't you like 100 people? That would certainly be something, yeah. Hello from this tiny chat. Yay! Oh no, Patrick! No limit. We love you around here.
Oh no.
Forever be with us. Sorry.
One of us.
One of us.
Come on, people, get a voting.
Did you already vote?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna make my vote decide, and we're going through door 3. I want to go through door number 3. No, you can't. Huh? Why? Because it's impossible. If we split ourselves into 3 and 3, then we give up on going through door 3. Why? The bracelet numbers for the 6 of us are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There are 10 combinations that can go through doors. 2 combinations that can go through door 3 with 3 people. 3, 4, and 5, or 6, 7, and 8. That's it. Of course, 2 teams can't go through the same door. I see. That means one team would get left behind. That's right. That doesn't happen if we go through door 7 or 8. No, they're fine. We've got 3 options. Santa began to explain. Plan A. Go through door 7 with 3, 5, 8, and go through door 8 with 4, 6, 7. Plan B. Go through door 7 with 4, 5, 7, and go through door 8 with 3, 6, 8. Plan C. Go through door 7 with 3, 6, 7, and go through door 8 with 4, 5, 8. Those are the only 3 options. That's it. At least, if we want to get all 6 of us out of here. That was when Junpei realized. Plan A divides into 2 teams, 3, 5, 8, and 4, 6, 7. Plan B divides into 2 teams, blah 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 blah. There was one thing they all had in common. In every single combination, 5 and 6 were never on the same team. In other words, all 6 people were